Can you feel it? It's that time. I've spent about 8 hours cranking away in the dungeon, and this could very easily be another book project. One of my students wanted to get outside the beaten path, and I have a lot of love for this opening that we're about to do this series on, the Trompowsky. My first win in a tournament game over a master was in the Trompowsky, and it'll always have a special place in my heart because of that. So let's go ahead and do a little basic overview in this first video, and then we'll go ahead and start tackling all the major variations in the subsequent ones. So we got D4, and the characteristic thing that makes the Trompowsky, the characteristic series of moves, I guess, is this D4 bishop G5, where you're always looking to capture on F6, double up the pawns, and then you have a game which is going to focus on this imbalance that we've created immediately, where we have a pair of knights versus our opponent that has a pair of bishops and doubled pawns. So there are a lot of different lines for black to avoid this, like knight E4, for instance, which is one of the critical lines. But I wanted to start off with, this is a complete repertoire in conjunction with my London system videos. So say, for instance, D4, D5. I did a poll, and part of the poll, the only comment that I had was, it would be nice if there was coverage of the pseudo Tromp. So you asked, and you received. So if 2 bishop G5, which is the pseudo Trompowsky, that's just what I'm calling it. I have no idea what the technical name is. I gotta tell you, this one is a tough nut to crack with black playing properly. So here's a line for black, and the reason that I'm not recommending this line, sorry to break hearts, F6 right now, tickle tickle on the bishop, in which case we have 2 lines, either bishop F4, bishop H4, neither of which are very fun for white. Black's having all the fun. So say, for instance, bishop H4, let's look at that guy first. Knight H6, an interesting move where the knight's going to go to F5 to harass the bishop even more so. So E3, a normal enough move. Knight F3, bishop G3. And after H5, already you can tell with the threat of H4 that this is not fun for the first player. The other line after F6, we have bishop F4, in which case knight C6, preparing E5. So we're trying to stop E5, so I insist on E5, and white's out of moves to insist. So we get this knight takes D4, surprise, surprise, E5, and again, in both positions, it's black having all the fun. I can't, in good conscience, recommend the pseudo Tromp. It is definitely an opening. It's definitely playable. But like I stated before, my recommendation is going to be going with the tried and true London system against the options that do not work against the Tromp. So as we stated, the Trompowsky is going to be this position with D4, knight F6, bishop G5. So any move order which avoids that, we're going to use the London system. So for instance, if D4, E6, you go bishop F4 and you're going to transpose. If D6, we'll more than likely get King's Indian type positions. And as I stated in my 5-part series on the London system, this is the Spassky variation is very troubling against the King's Indian. And the major move order we have is say C6, and here's the general theme that we're going for when we're playing against D5 and there's a hole on E5. You get all your pieces developed, knight E5, and now the key maneuver, bishop G3, F4, where we do this zigzag to play for a big kingside attack where we've got rooks and queen lifts to go after the king directly. Very smooth, very straightforward. So, coming back full circle to our Tromp, I'm going to go ahead and cover one of the sidelines right now, C6 on move 2. Now, the only reason I'm throwing this out here, don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the trap. The trap is if you play a move like e3 after queen a5 check, you're done, son. You're done. So don't let this happen to you. In the Tromp, your typical correct move is going to be bishop takes f6, doubling the pawns, c4, and after e3, we will see this position come up within the main repertoire in the following videos. So that's what I've got for you in this introductory video on the Trompowsky/London system repertoire. So I have a feeling you're going to like this. I mean, it's just some good stuff. It's the best.